Hello, I'm Mesk, and we're going to be jumping into a replay here. This is going to be Benno versus Alexhandr, with Shambler, who have been forewarned may actually type during this replay. In other words, we will see him typing SMH. Benno playing as Terran versus Alexhandr playing as Zergs. We have some new faces, and also I haven't done any casting for a long time, so there's also been changes to the project as well. So this is a map that I don't think has been updated, so there's actually quite a few things to talk about, which is good, because this is going to be a longer game. We're probably going to see Benno go straight to Quarry. It's been sort of the accepted standard opening for Terran right now. Pebo is saying he's probably going to change the cost for some of those at this stage. So the economy changes. There's no longer a different income for the minerals. The reason why they're different is because that's how the different income types were set up in the maps before, is whatever, their starting value is. The game's code would look at it and be like, okay, this is a 4 yield, this is an 8 yield, so on. It's been changed now. Our minerals do deplete, but they, just like Vespene Geysers and Old Brood War, have a depleted state. So I don't know if they regenerate or not. I have no idea. Anyways, there's a core. There's a stockade. Benno comes from the, I believe, the No Hunters Free-for-All community, along with another individual, Nablime. They played in the Ascendancy tournament that we have been casting earlier in this week. Who knows when this video is going to get processed? For me, that was about 4 or 5 days ago. It's honestly hard to think, because really my week's just been absolutely insane, actually. Absolutely insane. In fact, believe the sets, the A and B sets for that tournament, I received news that one of the closest people to me in my life has died, actually. So I only know about 3-4 people in real life, and it's quite devastating. So, just kind of like got to suck it up and just keep going on with your business, even though the fall is going to be really quite significant. All the while trying to catch up with the significant changes to this project, and the fact that we do have a whole bunch of new faces showing up as well that are also trying to get involved in this. So kind of what we're looking for in this cast, perhaps, is to maybe give them some, a little bit of pointers or whatever, see what they can do. But to be fair, I haven't seen Alexhandr yet, but the other two that I mentioned, Nablime and this fellow, do play fairly well, because they've been playing Brood War, I believe, fairly regularly prior to playing this, versus a lot of us that kind of came in without, having really seriously played it too much, right? Like me, for example. Obviously Starcraft 2 is what I was dealing with in development and stuff for quite a number of years, over a decade prior to really even starting to follow this project. And the last time I worked with Brood War was way back, so they had, respectable mechanical skill, but just didn't really know what to do. So especially Nablime was kind of, learning by the wire, because he'd only played it for a few hours prior. And of course, they had to go up against Mystery Meat, so it was actually interesting. It wasn't quite as one-sided as really might have expected, because Mystery Meat also had to remember how to play. And Alexhandr, I think, has been playing some games with some individuals, getting familiar with things. I have no idea what his background is like whatsoever. So if we look at the APMs, they're actually pretty close to each other. They're actually really consistently high at this point, too, with Benno being 250. He's probably just spamming like crazy. He just has no respect for arthritis whatsoever. Believe me, once you get to my age, you will. Early Treasury expansion, just spamming Cyprian. Cyprian's just been kind of the go-to. They're just, a little beefy, insane damage. Just sit there on this ramp. The Zeths can get up the ramp, but they're not going to have too much success. There's not really much space there for them. So Alexhandr actually went double Circuit and then Larvosk. Expecting some early aggression, perhaps being a little flight here. There's Azorcus. He's not actually harvesting gas at the moment. So not sure really what his plan is. There's some feet coming down there. Absolutely feety. Just gonna spam Cyprians. Benno really likes What beats those things? So, Cyprians, you definitely want heavy. Some way to split them up? Surround them? So they're firing in different directions? Or you need heavy ground? Zorkas is not necessarily a bad idea for that, but Zero Cores can also work. So the way penetration works, if they can't penetrate their armor, the projectiles won't penetrate them. As Shambler types out for us. That's 3. So the Vorva cores and everything else not really going to accomplish too much over here, but there is an expansion coming. Both players starting to float copious amounts of resources, and then immediately they go down. Just going to go into more Cyprians, why not? Benno likes his Cyprians, that's what we've established. But he has had a taste of endgame Terran within that tournament setting, and surely afterwards as well. Most of those are mirror matches, so this could be a little different. So there's the beef that he needs. He's got the idea of what he needs. He's got some beef. Now he needs some damage to go with it. But there are so many Cyprians that may not really suffice. There's just millions of Cyprians. The third bay is coming up for Benno there. There's the Likizlisk, or the Likalisk. Mandids just burst a blood vessel somewhere. This hypothetically could do some damage. Just be kind of careful though, because the Likizlisk, you can reveal it by just standing on it. Of course, he probably doesn't really want to do that with Cyprians. They're a little slow. So they might die trying to approach it. But that's if he burrows it in a spot the Cyprians feel inclined to actually approach. Which means he's going to have to go on the aggressive with it, but he probably doesn't really want to do that at the moment. But that just means that Terran's going to take a third base, and it's not really going to be any contest for that. Zerg going to be down a base, and only now is that expansion even coming online. So with these economic changes, what seems to happen is that you no longer float an absolutely absurd amount of minerals. It's actually a very, very goofy 3-way FFA I was playing with Popo and Kiki, and where I was just building nothing but engrams. And what I discovered is that actually it's quite possible to actually run out of minerals. Of course, that was not an updated map, so we were missing a bunch of mineral nodes. But I did have a lot of bases still. This attack does come in with no defenses except for this one thing here. Now when these guys are attacked, they spawn broodlings, so they make quite a nuisance early on. The Cyprians are coming in at the worst possible way to deal with those Likizlisks, but he does unburrow and moves into them. Benno not responding to that, not trying to snipe them before they burrow. Oh no, it's a disaster. He's fighting under them. Oh, it's a train wreck. So they still have vision up here. I'm not really sure why, actually. That's really strange. Why does he still have vision up there? That's a good question, Shambler Kun. Very odd. It's not dealing hardly any damage. I don't see it. Yeah, that'll be a bug of some kind. Unusual. So, building some more beef. More defenses. Starting to harvest from here, although some of the masons are getting tickled. Oh, he broke it. What a shame. Now there's just radiation sitting there. Oh, there is a shaman coming. The shamans have also changed since I last did any casting. It was really quite a while ago. I was focusing on my own game project before things got to be too crazy, and trying to catch up on my casting that's piled up over the years. With all the Heroes of the Storm casts, for example. Some hundreds of those still to go through. Oh no. Of course, nothing moved in to actually defend these versus those that were still hanging out there. Oh, they detect when they deploy. Oh, the more you know. Oh my god, they're coming! They're coming, they're biting! Benno had a moment. He almost could have committed to that. They didn't take him a lot of damage anyways. So. Those Likizliks did do a lot of damage. Far more than really what I was expecting. Got a lot of mileage out of those. Now, how is he going to follow up? Looks like he's just going to make more of them. It's going to be a very silly, scrappy game, I feel. Neither player seems too hell-bent. Oh, I spoke ever so slightly too soon. There's the Atlas coming up for Benno. The Hydra lol den, 1,000,000 Vorvicors. Now, Alexhandr still could do some damage here. It is just Cyprians. It's not like there's a lot of feet on the map, but if he continues to allow Benno to expand without taking expansions himself, it's going to be an explosion. A Cyprian explosion. Okay, I hear the units deploy and undeploy sounds from all the way across the map. That's most certainly a bug of some kind. I'm sure one that Pepe is probably aware of. Oh my god, I'm gonna be hearing it constantly. Uh-oh. Just gotta be a little careful here. One Cyprian charges forward. 400 APM. My man, rest your hands. The spam is unnecessary. The tanking going quite well because they're able to burrow. The Cyprians get all spread up, which is absolutely disastrous. Just a train wreck. Those ones get tickled to death. He's managed to hold the ramp. Alexhandr trying to work his way up here. Of course, they don't have any detection here. That should not have been detected. Oh, maybe he was shooting at the one running up. So, Benno has 1,000,000 APM, but his actual unit control is a little lacking. Certainly a little lacking. Really slow on the trigger in many cases there. And also getting really separated by that. Alexhandr has definitely been able to get a lot out of these units. And it looks like he's even going to be able to deny this expansion. Lol. He could lift this treasury here so it doesn't get annihilated. But he didn't. It got annihilated. Alexhandr maybe looking to take a third there. Still no sign of tier 2, but the Atlas is finished. There's 2 Fulcrums, no add-ons currently. It's still just spamming Cyprians. Lots of money in the bank. Absolutely filthy rich. Utterly disgusting. So much money. What's he gonna do with it all? He's just gonna pile it up. 2 Palladiums. They're Palladiums, but they don't actually build Paladins. This anchor is going to burn down. The feet are on fire. God, no, he's repairing it. Okay. The feet have been saved. More meat coming in. Still not focus firing the Kizilisks as they approach. He just ignores them. So they just get to burrow. At least some of the Cyprians would have been able to shoot them and had a clearer shot on them, but didn't happen. Oh, the anchor is being tickled to death. So many broodlings. Really needs to work on his focus fire. Can't let the heavy melee block him off so easily. Can't let the Kizilisks burrow on top of him, and most certainly can't afford to not respond to the Kizilisks burrowing on him. He's got 2,000 minerals in the bank. This is one of the things that really interests me about the APM spam. You see how, as the situation gets tight, the APM actually sharply drops in many cases. And then you would think like the high APM would be helping him with the spending the money and stuff like that. But his spamming is what it is. So there's some detection. Not sure how he spotted him initially, but maybe he just tried to move. I don't know, that felt weird. I was talking, so just like Shambler was typing, I wasn't quite paying attention there. Now, Alexhandr can most certainly get a lot more mileage out of actually physically attacking the workers here. He's not really accomplishing anything at his... Ah, I see, that's what he's doing. He's forcibly putting masons on top of them. I mean, it works. So many more worker kills were possible with those Kizilisks, but Maybe they were ever so slightly... I don't think they were not in range. I think he could have shot each one as they came in and gotten lots of kills off of that. Now he's up against tier 2, and there's no sign of tier 2 in for him at all. He also has no anti-air defenses of any kind whatsoever. If Benno decided to go for drops at this point, it would be absolutely disastrous. Meanwhile, there's an expansion coming up here. He's going to be fortifying those Sentinels, trying to deplete some of that money that he's got. The Sentinels are quite expensive now. I kept trying to pause and nothing was happening because I was being interrupted. Where were we? Okay, so, that new phalanx. It's nice to have some consistent graphics brought to you by Darkened Feet. It's a little thing, you know, but it's anything that adds a degree of consistency makes a huge difference. And he's done a pretty damn good job with those renders. So this is very similar back to the tournament build that, you know, is going based on what Meat was doing, you know, spamming phalanx and stuff like that. Not really trying out the magical. The magical would be great against what Alexhandr is doing, especially if you're not not focus firing those Lekizlis. Is the multi-fire from the magical will wipe out all the brood spawn, Zeths, and all the other small things. Now, Zeth was dragged into here, I believe, by a worker. If you see them following your worker, pathing to an expansion, pull the worker away, even if you have to let it die, because it'll give away the expansion, but you may not have noticed. But I'm pretty sure Alexhandr noticed, because he's sending dudes up there now. Little wall going over here. Benno is very content to turtle this one out, actually. It's not being very aggressive at all. He's absolutely in a stage to end the game, for sure. Especially if he grabbed a star pad and a couple of Van Seals for a more reliable, more mobile detection. Absolutely, but he's not doing that, so the Lekizlis are going to cause him some headaches. There's nothing actually in the anchor, so it's not going to offer any support. That's a fair bit of investment to lose like that, and he also didn't really respond very quickly. I like the starport out in the front like this. That's kind of a hot spot. He's been getting heckled there a few times, so it's kind of a dangerous spot to put your production like that, especially for air units. There's a bunch of units over here. Alexhandr may be hoping to bait the army to come up there, and they may attack as a result. It's a very small number of units. No, now he's pulling everything over there. I'm not sure. Maybe I thought it might have been. He's going to run face first into that army now. Again, the Lekizlis are getting a huge amount of cost effectiveness, and if he was paying attention, Alexhandr, you could kill his entire... Oh God, it's happening. Oh God, it's happening. Oh, just imagine if he was paying attention to that. Again, could have killed so many more. Holy shit. He made it all the way up until the shaman was going to deploy. Did not really respect the Lekizlisk at all. There's a Valkyrie, but there's no air units to kill with it. And again, the anchor has nothing in it. Oh no, it's going to happen again. Just a little piddling of units here. He forgot the Lekizlisk had been doing him so well to this point, and everything else he had just gets murdered. Oh, now it's coming. Oh, no, he pressed the wrong hotkey. I know that feeling. Oh. It spins. It spins. Oh shit, it's the Gorga cores. He's just spamming everything. All of his money is just going into that. Now he does have an Iris now. Meanwhile, Benno has so much money. He could go straight to tier 3 if he wants. Just straight up. Straight up to tier 3. Do it. He's absolutely in an incredibly commanding position in this game. He could end the game, or he can go to tier 3 and then end it with SAS. There is Mason sitting over here. A bunch of money did get depleted, but I believe it may have gone into units as opposed to Oh. There are 2 Cyprians in here. He's got to split up his Gorgacores so they don't take splash damage. Although they aren't actually splashing at the moment anyways. Oh. It's going for the quarry. Not really the best of targets, really. It's cheap. Avoids getting murder. Runs down here. Now, only the 2 watchdogs really pose much of a threat, but his Gorgacores are kind of frail. Oh. Oh, no. I'm going to see how Benno can take to being tickled. So far, not very well. Absolutely getting massacred. I'm sure Shambler appreciates the om-noms and the hugs. Just a huge amount of Lakizzlisks over here. And more Gorgacores. Yeah, it's tier 2. Could open him up for some siege options if he wishes, or go into Brood Spawn, which maybe not amazingly useful against Cyprians, but it would hang them up, and Benno has shown a weakness against focus firing the Lakizzlisks, so he wants to stick through. Having queens and other things like that to be spawning Brood Spawn for him could absolutely help a lot. He has 4 bases up now, so he's just about evened out with this base here, still recovering in this one here, not mining at all at the moment. So minerals do not actually regenerate, so that's worth noting. Is that as the game progresses, your mineral income will sharply decline, and your gas income will eventually increase because the geysers are tier 2 now, except for Protoss. They're just expensive as all fuck. You can't really go an early aquifer with Protoss anymore, sadly. Ah, there's the Daedala. I was waiting for it. And you just kind of, it sort of evens out a little bit later on in the game, but early on you aren't really swimming in resources as much, so you don't really have as much inclination to mineral dump, particularly as Zerg. But what it does mean is that in the mid and late game, you aren't quite as gas starved because your economy overall tends to be a little weaker. But the mineral harvesting time is at... The mineral harvesting time is actually faster, so maybe it evens out. I'm not really sure. I guess it's hard to judge in this map where it wasn't updated and there's not really as many mineral nodes, I don't think, so... I'm not really sure the exact specifics of it all, but it feels a little more consistent gas-wise early on, at least. So Benno's army is all the way across the map. There was no scouting for this direction, which is where Alexhandr's been coming from the most. He's always coming in. Oh my god, there's so many Gorgacores. It's nothing in the anchor again. So the army has to kind of like march all the way back. Now those Valkyries will actually see some use because now he's built Gorgacores. Now Gorgacores can absolutely fight this. They're not that dangerous. You can just split up and fight it. He did take a lot of free damage kind of unnecessarily and did sort of bundle up. Yeah, he doesn't know about the Anseal, so that's why he doesn't have one. No, so it's important to keep in mind. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, Benno, no! Oh my god! Oh Jesus! Alexhandr felt kind of sorry for him, so he had to kind of like return the favor. Yeah, so you want the Anseal of the star pad. That's where you're going to get your detection. That's where Meat got his detection from the Anseal, so he would surely would have noticed that in the prior games. Shambler doesn't answer his inquiry. Shambler, you need to help him. Are you going to save him from himself? Or is he giving Alexhandr the newer newcomers luck benefit? Oh, he's charging the front. This is a disaster. Oh no! He had a bit of a kerfluffle. So nice got the Kafalasks. Those are my favorite Zerg structure because they're absolutely busted. That's the ones that give you tier 2 units. But you have to be a little careful with them because you can end up in a situation where you can't make Droliths anymore. Also, he needs to have some tier 2 structures. So he does have the Gorgle Swamp, and he did more of the Liberal Pond. So that's going to give him some big men. But this is finished. So Benno is going to need to... He has a treasure here, he's not doing anything with it. I mean, he doesn't really need the gas at the moment. It's kind of funny. Is he gonna fight with nothing besides diadems and cyprians? I sure hope so. Let's see if that's what he's going to build. I think he's contemplating it. Diadems and cyprians. He's being so patient here, but it looks like he really did want to attack there. But again, not really scouting this left side at all. He never puts eyes down here. Never. And that's the Zerg have just been constantly coming from that one direction. So you know it's going to happen a second time, third time, whatever, however many times it is at this point. He's going to amass over there to do something, and then the Zerg are going to come down there. And now they actually have some calculus, so while not exactly terrifying units, it is more consistent air damage at a higher range than the Gorgakor, so he will love this one, I'm sure. It will be beautiful. So the Daedala has lifted. I'm thinking he's trying to build an add-on with it. That's my guess. So again, just like before, Zerg march up here. There's the diadem being built. A little bit of a kerfluffle with his hotkeys there, so he's taking quite a bit of damage, kind of unnecessarily, but he does get the burrow off. All the Cyprians are walking into certain death. There's the Gorgakors. They've arrived to validate the existence of the Valkyries. So this detection is on the ledge there. That keeps the ground a little safe, and all the kills will smelt absolutely terribly. There's one over here as well, but so many Cyprians have died. It's absolutely wretched. There's just a no man's land here, killing every single thing that walks into it. Is there a moving detector for Terran, he asks again. Anseal. But where does it come from? That's what he needs most. He needs the star pads. Should have just told him about the Seraph. I think he could have built the Seraph. Unless he lost his starport. There is rubble there. It was not the starport. That's too bad. Just go straight to Seraphs. But the Anseal doesn't tell him where he gets it from. He's gonna build a starport, thinking maybe that's where it's from. But it's actually from the star pad. One has feet and one doesn't. But they both can fly. I know, it's absolutely deranged. How can you fly without feet? So Alexander's kind of gotten comfortable again, just spamming big men and Lakizas, but it's certainly a very inefficient route. Benno has the Atelier. He could, for example, go straight to Hippogriffs, Phoboses, any of the other extremely ridiculous things that will just kind of step on Alexander. No! Oh no! It's a train wreck. Oh, they all died. There's some basilisks over here. Those are also very good against Cyprians because of the range difference and the bouncing corn dogs. I think that Benno's going to have a hard time here because he's trying to figure out what to do, and Alexander really isn't going to give him the time to figure out what to do. There's big men coming and crooked dongs, but Alexander doesn't really have a lot of units, so well, Ismo's certainly heckling Benno. He's not going to breach this wall of tanks and Cyprians very easily. He's going to need some higher tech. Maybe another expansion or two. He's got some Joyless over there, so maybe that's what he was intending. Some metalworkers over here. I'm pretty sure Benno is like investigating the stuff. There we are. He got the star pads. Shambler is trying to help them in his own way. He's got the star pad. He can finally make the Anseal. And not a moment too soon, his whole army is getting caught up inside the killing fields. There we are, he's building the Anseal, he's on the way. Meanwhile, Masons are being butchered over here. Oh god. If only you had some vision. If you had saved a couple Gorgakors or Calculus or something, he's gonna you can probably just dive right in there. I think the Sentinel will kill him. Oh yeah, he's going in. Benno's gonna have a very, very bad day trying to play whack-a-mole with all these Lekizlis that are just murdering all of his shit everywhere. Yes, he is floating a lot of money, but once his income dries up, it's gonna be kind of hard to get that money back once he starts spending it. No, no, you gotta wait for the detection! Now, he's gonna go step on it. It's not really worth it when they're split up. Benno's got himself in a little bit of a pickle. Just a pickle. You might say he even turned into a pickle. Funniest shit ever. Alright, so the Ansil has arrived. But not before another Mason is sacrificed. Oh no, he's moving away! He wants to get rid of the ones over here. He's got to protect the quarry. Everything relies on that quarry. Meanwhile, there's two still burrowed in this one area. Benno's probably a very confused boy at this point. But at least he's cleaning up a part of his lawn. Okay. Another Mason bites the dust. So in Alexhandr's situation, he did get the friendship with Shaman ended. Oh no, the gig is up. You gotta bring the Ansils on top of your Cyprians so they don't get absolutely butchered. It's okay. He's got it under control. So, he does have the Ostal Ava form. It's very Ovi. It's making the hive, that double production. Oh, there's the nanite assemblies. Looks like we're gonna go straight to some kind of hive here at some moments here. Alexhandr is not quite as rich as his... Oh, he wants a pause. JJ. LFG. Looking for a group. He needs to do dead mines on his pally. Cyprians and Phalanx is very wounded in some cases. Slowly march across back to the spot he wanted to take. He never goes in the direction the Zerg is coming from. Meanwhile, Alexhandr is just mining there instead because he's willfully ignored it for so long. He just doesn't want to go over here, ever. But Alexhandr's not building anything higher tier at the moment, so he's not really taking advantage of what he's got. He might still be investigating everything on his own. Some of his workers are also chilling out. So the Hadrons are on the way. Those used to be the particle accelerators. Now I just think of them as hard-on colliders. This time, however, Alexhandr chooses to meet Benno in the field of honorable combat, marching over his large amount of men with their excellent walk cycles, building some Kagrins over here, starting to get rather rich with all this production. There absolutely could be an explosion. The Ansil spots them on the ledge. That Lekizlisk is not actually hitting the Phalanx at all. So that's busted. Well, if there's any question about the bulk of Benno's forces being over there, there isn't anymore. Hordes and hordes of Lekizlisks march over. And the battle is joined, the armada of Cyprians against big men who are probably rallied in the wrong way. But the Bactalisks are dealing some damage, and the Anseals need to hover over them. There you go, that's the right idea. Oh, now he's off. Wanted to try to protect his buck line. Oh no, but the Lekizlisk snuck in. Oh god. It's just, oh no. Oh, Benno. Just build some Phoboses. Personally, I would prefer Hippogriffs in this situation, but you know what? It's the highest tier, most expensive unit he has access to. Hell, why not? May as well. He didn't try to build another diadem after he lost the first one, though. I am exhausted. Me too. Probably for very different reasons, though. You got to build another structure. A big one. Something expensive. Hi, Exhausted. I'm Shambler. The first of the Phoboses have arrived. Is Benno had just... He's got the one strategy, and by golly, he will live or die by that strategy. Just that he's exchanged... The ant seals are flying straight over Alexhandr. He has no idea. There's definitely a little bit of control that Benno could work on here, which is not sending his ant seals off to their death. And Alexhandr maybe paying a little bit more attention to his minimap. Unfortunately, he did remember to bring over his detection and did not lose his ground army to the Alexhandr this time. Now we're in a bit of a pickle, but now we can see Alexhandr is starting to build some of the higher tier stuff. So if Benno sits on this advantage, he could still face a difficult situation. There are more big men en route. It's detection on this ledge. There are more Phoboses coming. Phobos is pretty high, consistent single target damage. Fairly reasonable armor, but it is single target damage. And Alexhandr does have a lot of money. There's so many Bactylisks. All the better Slow is gonna find this expansion over here. Alright, he's got the Vithrilisks. Precisely what he wants in this circumstance. It'll help shred some of that armor as the Phobos spins. Again, some Hippogriffs would be wonderful about. Actually, even some, what were they? Minotaurs. Those would be great too, because of the multi-target to soften up the Hydras. It's not like, well, the Backlisks have 3 armor, but I'm pretty sure that the Minotaurs will still do pretty well against them. Some Hydralisks. Noting that, well, this ledge here is actually protected now, this base still remains entirely untouched. Benno very content to sit on his laurels and never even scout that place. Very emphasized on this place here, even though he's not doing anything with his expansion at the moment. U3U. Well, he's got some ultra cores. If the Vithrilisks stay back and are able to stack up their debuff, they could help. There we go. They reduce armor, right? Well, it doesn't tell you if it does, but there's definitely a lot of damage coming out of this, and despite the fact there's not many units, the Ultra Cores are happily dealing with the workers, as the tanks are easily overwhelmed, as there really wasn't much to protect them. And the Phoboses are being tickled to death by crooked sausages. Benno is in a small bit of a pickle. Absolutely tickled. The ant seals are dying slowly and miserably. The line is broken and there is not a wall of diadems. In fact, there's not very much at all. 2 Phoboses come en route. Oh, getting tickled. He can easily kill this. Doesn't have to run from it. Another expansion bites the dust as some of Alexhandr's stuff gets separated and dies. He's got some of these dudes here. The Almaxilisk. The bane of Alexhandr's existence. The most distant expansion on the map is finally going to be destroyed. And he could take out this production with it. Phobos slowly tickle his rectum from behind. Well, most of Masons might escape. Definitely going to want to lift off that production. He was building some of the well bores. Oh no, the hard-on colliders! Benno charges in with his army, preparing to protect his hard investment. With some Skither cores. Ideal for dealing with Phoboses. Oh god, he's got the upgraded Zerkabra cores that are not attacking. They are tanking though, so it's something, right? The Hydras charge in over there somewhere. It's okay, they got the phalanx. They charge in over there from somewhere. Some hotkey kerfluffle gives Benno the edge he needs to save his burning nano assembly. Oh no, one of them is still alive. Well, I actually think he would have been fine, but his move command fucked him up. Meanwhile, those archaic cores are just nibbling on Benno's extremities, nibbling on his toes. Ear licking, so to say. One nano assembly is on fire. The hard-on collider is being collided. Meanwhile... Oh, and he's telling him about hippos. Can he get hippos before he loses his hard-on collider, though? They're tickling. The hydraulics are en route. This expansion also falls. Benno is in a difficult situation. He's just killing the ant seals. Oh no, they're moving in again instead of attacking. It's okay, they're beefy enough. They survived for now. He's got multiple Phoboses. Oh, both of these are gonna die. He's building a hippogriff, though. The never-ending Likizzlisks. Oh, my opponent has heavy air. I'm gonna build some Likizzlisks. Oh, they might actually kill all these workers, though. Alexhandr, please, for the love of God, please, burrow them. No, it's a disaster. It was such a brilliant idea, but it didn't work out. It's okay, though. Oh, he's saved it. One hippogriff is out. The sentinel's burning. No! Oof. Well, he's not landing the nano assemblies yet. Maybe he wants to reclaim that space. The safe space is not terribly safe anymore. Alexhandr has money, for sure. He's kind of peeping around here. Spray got to use those layers and just start spamming upgraded units. Just a giant stack of Vitalisks will get the job done. Oh, that's bugged. I like how all the line attacks still have that bug. I feel like Alexander's gonna need more Vitalisks to deal at this point. And the Ultralisks charge forward. Splash damage. Oh shit! Oh, the burst damage! Holy shit! Yo, those actually did some insane damage. Wow. Was there just that many of them stacked up? That was crazy. I've never seen those do that kind of damage before. Holy shit. That was nuts. They just insta-give the Phoboses. Holy shit. So we just got some of these dudes. The Evagrillisk. Give up, darn you. Yes, well, like I was saying before we interrupted again, I have the high ground. It's okay, he still has a hippogriff, and he's making another one. They are the key to success within this. If he just keeps making them, they will kill everything before they can get close enough to him. He's going to need some heavier air. But I think Alexhandr's kind of caught on to the secret of being able to do some damage here. Destroyed. Annihilated. Oh no, not the Cyprians. Oh my god. Oh, it was a train wreck. Okay, he's got 1 million Kagalisks. They also have high base damage and decent armor penetration. Very good all-around units. You can think of them almost as like super Hydra. So all Alexhandr really needs to do at this point is just stack up a bunch of Vethrilisks. But I mean, there's not really a lot of air left. I think the Kagalisks will quite handily deal with just about everything else, unless he approaches a really bad ramp. But there are 2 additional hippogriffs being built. Now, what's really telling here is Benno's not really making an effort to take back these expansions. He might not view them as being very valuable because of the depleted minerals. But minerals are still minerals. He does need them. Maybe he just wants to take this route to attacking, and well, an expansion was destroyed over here. Starting to look like to be a formidable force that Alexhandr has gathered. Hate this map, lol. I have a feeling we're gonna see a repeat. Yeah, this is precisely what's happened elsewhere in the game. Benno's on the other side of the map, and Alexhandr just goes where he is, like 10 feet north. Benno just really not caring about the left side of the map at all. There's more hippogriffs, but oh, that's the Cyprians that are gonna murder every. Oh my god. Oh, but the Ultra Cores just speed in and off they go over there somewhere. I'm not really sure what's up with his move commands. Now they're going where they need to be. So many Zerg died on the ramp for their sins. And the rest of the units are coming over here, single file. It's a disaster. Benno's base is being tickled to death. He's got 4 hippos. The max range bug is assuredly screwing them out of dealing damage right now. Yeah. Max range bug though. Oh, and he conceded. Oh, and the spinning commences. Well, that was an extremely silly game. Alright, obviously both players were trying to figure out what to do, and, you know, I suggested end seals early on, and he didn't actually know what those were, although I'm pretty sure he saw Meat build them. I could be wrong, but I thought Meat... Well, he would have seen it in the matches that Meat built them, so he knew that they were there. Maybe didn't know where they come from. They're really, like, beyond just like that, like, just not responding fast enough. Not focus firing the Lykizelisks, choosing to fight on top of the Lykizelisks, not really paying attention to where his units were going, you know, kind of like mistakes like that. But beyond that, again, like not ever going to the left side of the map. Like the Zerg just constantly were attacking in the one spot over and over and over and over. If you stick like 4 or 5 anchors instead of 1 anchor and fill it with Cyprians, you would have been able to hold that so much more often. You know, sticking detection on that ledge or whatever with the shamans or whatnot. But at the very least, just keeping eyes on that side of the map, because the Zerg just constantly coming this one direction. Why not at least know when he's going to come so I'm not constantly getting caught out of position? He really over-favored the right side constantly because of that. And almost every single time he went to the right side, he ended up getting punished for it. And most of it was just entirely incidental. It's just entirely incidental. It's just like you just happen to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time, but it's just happening over and over and over again. And it forms a pattern. You got to break that pattern, which means scouting and keeping eyes on the map and knowing where your enemy's forces are, right? I think Alexhandr also had some multitasking troubles in this for sure. It's just some silliness. But he managed to get so much more effectiveness out of the Lekislis than I really was expecting. That absolutely goofy. Not respecting the fact that there was serious threat for error damage all across the game on him. He saw Valkyries, and that is in the same structure it builds Gorgons and Wyverns. Obviously, he doesn't know that. You know, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. He probably doesn't know the tech trees, but he knows that air units are in play, which means he has to be conscious of the fact my opponent is getting air tech. I should be aware that there's air tech on the map, right? So that means I'm in danger of having air tech attack me. Which means he needs to be a little bit more conscious of there being drops and stuff like that. Like if Benno went for drops kind of early on, like if he did know about the star pad, build a couple Trojans and start dropping phalanxes all over, I think it would just picked Alexhandr apart. We never really got to see how Alexhandr performs while being under pressured and attacked. Because every single time Benno went to attack, it was a really long way off the beaten path of where all his shit was, and he just decided to attack anyways, and constantly forced Benno to respond to him instead, over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, the resources were actually very similar. Even though Alexhandr was behind early on, it was just because the game lasted for a while after those bases were destroyed in the right side of the map, and the one on the left side of the map. Actually, the two in the left side of the map as well. And it was also kind of funny that Benno built the first diadem and it got destroyed. He never tried to build another one at all. He never went for a second one. It's just kind of amusing. He was like, well, I'm not even going to try it. I think it would have helped a little bit. Maybe not as much against some of the other races that are more range focused. With the Zerg and the Ultras might be a little difficult. But I think it definitely would have helped. Because if he had been putting eyes on the left side of the map, and diadems would have been shooting those armies as they formed up, that would have really slowed down the aggression and really like prevented Alexhandr from coming in when he was comfortable. And Alexhandr fumbled a lot of the commands in those attacks. Right, like the constant move commands instead of attack commands, right? So the diadem could have made that much harder for him as well.